Cinderella is one of Philly's ultimate rock and rollers and the overnight DJ at MMR. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacky BamBam in the house.
I've never heard of him. Wow. I'm not too good in the sunlight, but I'm going to do my best. Joe Piscopo, 1987, MTV, at the Ritz, Rockin' Eve.
Oh my God, you were
Dave Edmonds, Carl Perkins, the Georgia Satellites.
I played drums, the Blue Suede Shoes.
Dan Moore, you kicked my ass on the drums. Shut up!
Oh God, you were in a catatonic stupor, man.
Hey gang, we're not here to talk about MTV or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's all about the Philadelphia Walk of Fame tonight. Come on, let's get this place shaking. And congratulations, by the way, to all the inductees in the class of 2015. Give it up! And I'll be brief for as long as it takes. Hey gang, seriously, it's a great honor and privilege for me to be here this evening and thank Philadelphia's fairy godmother for the Cinderella story I'm about to tell you. If you would have told me 29 years ago when I was unemployed to spike my hair, stuff my hair into a glass slipper, and stand at this podium, I probably would have peed myself a little bit, which I am doing. But this band seriously was the fabric of my life. They decorated our great city of Philadelphia, and whenever I play them on my show on 93.3 WMMR, it brings me back to my teenage years, sneaking into the Galaxy nightclubs. Anybody heard of the Galaxy in Somerdale, New Jersey? Warriors Pike, and then on the other side of the bridge, the Empire Rock Room in the Great Northeast. Well, everyone has a Cinderella story. I know Tom, I know Eric, I know Jeff, I know Fred. My story, it started when a friend asked me to join them and come see this cool band. They were named after a fairy tale princess that wore ripped up lace, but don't you dare call them a hair band. I don't want to see that anymore from my friends in Philadelphia. You got that? Because they got an education on Janis Joplin, UFO, James Brown, AC/DC, the Rolling Stones, T-Rex, Zeppelin, UFO, AC/DC, I say that, I could go on and on here, but this All Ages Empire Rock Room show, it changed my life forever. I couldn't comprehend that this band I was seeing, they were here in my own backyard, they weren't on TV, they weren't on the radio. How can this be? It was like sensory overload to me. I was mesmerized watching the great lead singer, songwriter, and my friend, Mr. Tom Kiefer out of Springfield, PA. With his hair so black and long, he's up on stage, he wore this railroad hat, and he wore these white glasses. Where's this guy from, Mars? He can't be from the same planet I'm from. No way. I was mesmerized, like I said. This guy had star quality written all over him. Excuse me. So, gang, I was hooked immediately. I had to know the history of this band. Went to the back of the building. They were selling a little 45 that they pressed at Ardmore Studios, Cricket Studios in Ardmore. 2 songs, Shake Me and Nobody's Fool. The rest of the world, they would learn about those songs about 3 years later. The band went through a couple member changes, and you know, it wouldn't be right not to mention their great drummer, may he rest in peace, Tony Sticks Destra, Michael Kelly Smith, who went on to find fame with Brittany Fox, and another drummer, Jimmy Darnick, who's now my lawyer, keeps me out of trouble in Delaware. The final lineup, though, was complete. The chemistry came about and the magic when Tom Kiefer found Upper Darby's own Jeff LaBar on the guitar. Boy, can that kid play, and split water in the air. Also, Eric Brittenham, the long blonde-haired bass player, Tom's good friend from Saints and Hell, he stuck with him through the days of Cinderella. And keeping a solid beat, they recruited a guy named Fred Corey. Fred was in a band called London, which had Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue out in Hollywood. They got him here into our great city of Philadelphia, and then the magic started to happen. They knocked on Bill Hagg's door, the owner of the Galaxy on the White Horse Pike, said, "We need a place to rehearse." Bill, may he rest in peace, gave them a room upstairs. Every night they worked hard, and every Saturday night they rocked the hell out of the Galaxy at midnight. It was a residency. They got a record deal. Yes, they did, when John Bon Jovi entered the Empire Rock Room on a cold night, got on the phone to his record company, Polygram Records, and said, hey, you gotta sign these guys. They were signed to Polygram Records. They put out their debut album, Night Songs, in 1986, sold over 3 million copies worldwide. And every person that bought that record all over the world had a great piece of our city of Philadelphia in their own house, because that album cover was photographed at Head House Square, right off of South Street. Looks like it's in the middle of the night, but it was shot in the afternoon hours. Now you know, and no one's half the battle. All right, they practice. Of course they practice. When the rest of the bands, they flock to Los Angeles, the Sunset Strip, to find fame and fortune, but not our friend Cinderella. They stayed on the East Coast. They marked their territory on their home base, the city of brotherly love, and their love for the city made them even stronger. 3 years later, brought the attention to Gene Simmons of Kiss. Yeah, that guy. And then it happened. John Bon Jovi, like I said, came down, signed on Polygram Records. They got out of the clubs, went on tour with Poison, and then Diamond David Lee Roth gave him a call to come to the arenas all over the world, toured the world, brought him to our very own air-conditioned Spectrum. May she rest in peace, the old girl. They shared stages with Judas Priest, Motley Crue, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, and played the Moscow Peace Festival. We were so proud of them. Of course, they were part of the MTV era. Recorded videos of Pulsations and Glenn Mills, had that place shaking. Also had a cameo appearance from their producer, and we know him as the producer of legendary Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin producer Andy Johns, may you rest easy. John Bon Jovi paid him back a favor, showed up in their video with Richie Zambora. And let's hear it for Chicks and Polka Dots. Also, Dweezil Zappa, actress Shelley Duvall, and even, yes, Little Richard, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. The beauty on deity was a fan of Cinderella. Shut up! You don't know who Little Richard is? Come on, people. Now, all of a sudden, my mom knew who Little Richard was. She started knocking on Tom's door when he lived in the Railroad Apartments in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, before he bought a house in Cherry Hill. Tom, you need some hot tea for your voice? Tom, I have fresh spaghetti and meatballs for you. Now my mom thought Cinderella was cool. And of course, this skinny bastard also stole pizza out of his refrigerator. Hey, Cinderella went on to record 3 more albums with Polygram Records, selling over 7 million albums total. Has any rock band in Philadelphia ever done that? Yeah. That's a record. And that's why we're here tonight. Cinderella is still quote-unquote climbing, and they still are the heartbeat of our great city of Philadelphia. The great founder and brainchild, Tommy Kiefer, has a solo successful album out. It's called The Way Life Goes. Tom, as we speak, is over in London, so he couldn't be here tonight. But I want to thank Cinderella for keeping it real and true over the years. Now, it's my pleasure, I am proud and honored to welcome Cinderella into the Philadelphia Walk of Fame.
Philadelphia. I'm quite sure you're all having a great night, and my regrets for not being able to be there. I really wanted to be, but I'm across the pond with my band, and we're finishing the European leg of our tour. But I did want to drop in and say thank you to the Philadelphia Music Alliance, all of you there tonight, and of course the fans of Philadelphia for this. To be part of the Philly Walk of Fame, alongside the previous inductees, is just amazing. Our city has such a rich musical history, and to be considered a part of that is an incredible honor and, quite frankly, very humbling. So I'm at a loss for words. This means so much. I just can't even express my gratitude. So I'm just going to say, on behalf of Cinderella, thank you so much for this. This is just too cool. And I also want to say to Jacky BamBam, my Philadelphia brother, thank you for doing the induction. I'm sure it was amazing. I'm sorry I missed it, and the next time I see you, the pizza's on me, brother. Cheers to you all. Thanks again. Good night.
Thank you, Kiefer. Hey, gang, let's rock some Cinderella right now with these young kids. I want a nice round of applause. Sarah James and the Hess Brothers.